Welcome back to US Rare Coins News. The state quarter dollar in your collection might look like an ordinary 25-cent coin, but have you ever wondered if its year, mint mark, condition, or even a small minting error could make it special to collectors? Today, we're taking a closer look at this state quarter to discover what makes it interesting and how much it could potentially be worth. Watch until the end, and if you have one of these quarters, share its year and mint mark in the comments. Top 1. What if one of the quarters sitting unnoticed in your collection is actually the kind of coin that makes collectors stop and look twice? Imagine finding a 1999 Connecticut state quarter, checking the tiny P mint mark, examining the condition, and then discovering that you may have something much more interesting than an ordinary 25-cent coin. This is the 1999 P Connecticut state quarter, one of the earliest coins released in the famous 50 state quarters program, and its historic charter oak design makes it instantly recognizable. But here is the important part: not every 1999 Connecticut quarter is valuable, so you need to know exactly what details to check before deciding what your coin might be worth. Stay with me until the end, because we are going to examine this coin from its specifications and design to its collector interest, possible errors, condition, and the price figure being discussed in this video. Let's begin with the basic information. The coin we are looking at is the 1999 Connecticut state quarter with the P mint mark, meaning it was produced at the Philadelphia Mint. The standard weight is 5.67 grams, the diameter is approximately 24.26 millimeters, and the thickness is approximately 1.75 millimeters. The circulating quarter is made with a copper-nickel outer layer bonded to a copper core. These specifications are important because they give collectors a simple way to identify the normal characteristics of the coin. If your coin is dramatically different in weight or dimensions, that does not automatically mean it is rare, but it can be a reason to investigate further. Now let's talk about why the 1999 Connecticut quarter is historically interesting. Connecticut was the fifth state represented in the 50 state quarters program, and its quarter was released in 1999. The program became one of the most popular modern U.S. coin programs ever created, encouraging millions of people to search their pocket change for coins representing all 50 states. Connecticut's design features the famous charter oak, a symbol deeply connected with the state's history. The tree is shown prominently on the reverse, creating a design that is instantly different from an ordinary Washington quarter. The inscriptions United States of America, Connecticut, 1788, E pluribus unum, and quarter dollar surround the design, making this coin a small piece of American history. Now turn the coin over to the obverse. You will see the familiar portrait of George Washington, along with Liberty, Indiana, God We Trust, United States of America, and the date 1999. On this particular Philadelphia issue, look carefully below the portrait for the small letter P. That tiny P is the mint mark identifying the Philadelphia Mint. It can be easy to miss when the coin is worn or dirty, so use good lighting and, if necessary, a magnifying glass. When you are searching through a large collection, identifying the mint mark is one of the quickest ways to separate different versions of the same state quarter. Here is something extremely important for collectors: simply having a 1999 date does not automatically make this quarter rare. The Philadelphia Mint produced hundreds of millions of Connecticut quarters for circulation, so ordinary circulated examples are generally common. That means you should not look at the date alone. Instead, pay attention to the coin's condition, strike quality, surface preservation, and whether it has a genuine minting error or recognized variety. This is where the real excitement begins, because two quarters with exactly the same date and mint mark can have very different levels of collector interest. Start your inspection with the obverse. Look closely at Washington's portrait, especially the high points where circulation becomes visible. Check the hair, cheek, jawline, and other raised areas. Then inspect Liberty and In God We Trust. Are the letters sharp and clearly defined, or are they worn? Next, examine the date 1999 and the P mint mark. Look for unusual characteristics, but remember that scratches, dents, stains, and marks caused after the coin left the mint are usually damage rather than valuable mint errors. Now move to the reverse, because the charter oak deserves a very close inspection. Look at the branches, trunk, leaves, lettering, and surrounding fields. A coin with strong details and attractive surfaces can be much more appealing to collectors than a heavily worn example. Pay attention to the overall appearance as well. Does the coin have heavy scratches? Has the surface been cleaned or polished? Is there unusual discoloration? Is the strike strong? These details can influence how collectors view the coin. If you believe you have discovered something unusual, do not immediately assume it is an error. Compare it with reliable coin references or have it examined by a qualified professional. The condition of a 1999 Connecticut quarter can make a major difference. A heavily circulated coin may have very little premium over face value, while an exceptionally preserved example can be much more interesting to collectors. Professional grading becomes especially important when a modern coin appears to be in extremely high condition. A certified grade provides collectors with an independent assessment of the coin's condition and can make high-grade examples easier to compare in the marketplace. There are also different mint versions of the 1999 Connecticut quarter. The Philadelphia version carries the P mint mark, while Denver examples carry the D mint mark. Proof examples from San Francisco carry the S mint mark. So when you search your collection, do not just look at Connecticut in 1999. Look for that small mint mark too. You may have several Connecticut quarters that look almost identical at first glance but were produced at different facilities or in different formats. Now let's talk about the question every collector wants answered: how much could this coin be worth? The answer depends heavily on condition, certification, and whether the coin has a genuine recognized error or variety. An ordinary circulated 1999 Connecticut quarter should not be assumed to be worth thousands of dollars simply because it is from 1999. However, exceptional high-grade examples have achieved significant auction prices. For example, PCGS records an auction result of $4,362 for a 1999 Connecticut quarter graded MS-67. That shows why condition can be so important when dealing with modern coins. And now we reach the big number featured in this video, $120,000. If you see a claim connecting a 1999 Connecticut quarter with a price of $120,000, remember that you should never assume every coin of this type is worth that amount. A spectacular price claim would require strong evidence, such as a verified auction record and a specific coin with extraordinary characteristics. The normal value of a regular 1999 Connecticut quarter can be dramatically lower. Always verify a high-value claim before making a buying or selling decision. So, what should you do if you actually have one? First, do not clean it. Cleaning a coin can damage its original surface and potentially reduce collector appeal. Second, weigh it using an accurate digital scale. Third, check the diameter if you have the proper measuring equipment. Fourth, inspect both sides under good lighting. Fifth, carefully check the P mint mark, date, lettering, and charter oak design. And finally, if something genuinely unusual appears, consider getting an expert opinion. Never rely only on a viral social media post or an unverified price screenshot. One of the most exciting things about state quarter collecting is that these coins are still relatively modern, meaning many examples are still sitting in old collections, coin jars, drawers, and albums. Someone may have saved one because they liked the Connecticut design without realizing that condition, errors, or varieties can make certain examples more interesting. That is why searching your own collection can be so much fun. You do not need to start with an expensive ancient coin. Sometimes the hunt begins with a simple quarter. And I want to hear from you. Do you have a 1999 Connecticut state quarter in your collection? If you do, tell me in the comments what condition it is in and whether you noticed anything unusual on the coin. If you have any coin like the ones I show in my videos, give me a reply and tell me which coin you have. I may feature interesting collector finds and coin questions in future videos. If you enjoy rare US coins, state quarters, valuable errors, unusual varieties, coin values, and fascinating American coin history, make sure you subscribe to US Rare Coins News. Turn on notifications so you do not miss the next coin discovery. Every coin has a story, and sometimes the smallest details can make the biggest difference. So before you spend that 1999 Connecticut quarter, take another look. Check the P mint mark. Check the date. Study the charter oak. Examine the surfaces. Look at the condition. And most importantly, do not believe an unbelievable price claim without verification. The majority of these quarters are not worth a fortune, but the possibility of finding an exceptional example is exactly what makes coin collecting so exciting. And remember the headline figure from this video, $120,000. That is the price figure we are highlighting, but it should never be treated as the guaranteed value of every 1999 P Connecticut quarter. Your coin's real value depends on its specific condition, authenticity, grade, and any verified error or variety. So check your collection carefully, because you never know what interesting piece of American history might be sitting right in front of you. Top 2. What if a quarter that looks completely ordinary at first glance is actually hiding details that every serious coin collector should know? The 2000 Virginia State Quarter is one of the most recognizable coins from the 50 State Quarters program, but when you find one with the right mint mark, exceptional condition, or a genuine unusual characteristic, it can become much more interesting than its 25-cent face value. This is the 2000 Virginia State Quarter, featuring the historic ships associated with the founding of Jamestown. So before you spend, exchange, or put this quarter back into a coin jar, take a closer look, because the small details can tell you exactly what kind of coin you have. Let's start with the basic specifications. The coin we are examining is the 2000 Virginia State Quarter with the D mint mark, meaning it was struck at the Denver Mint. Its standard weight is 5.67 grams, its diameter is approximately 24.26 millimeters, and its thickness is approximately 1.75 millimeters. The circulating coin has a copper-nickel outer layer bonded to a copper core. These specifications are useful when identifying the normal characteristics of the coin, especially if you are checking an unusual-looking example. A difference in weight or appearance can be a reason to investigate, but it does not automatically prove that a coin is rare or valuable. The Virginia quarter has an important place in American coin history because Virginia was the 10th state represented in the 50 State Quarters program. The coin was released in 2000, and its reverse design celebrates the 400th anniversary of the founding of Jamestown through the image of three ships, Susan Constant, Godspeed, and Discovery. These ships represent the voyage that brought English settlers to Virginia in 1607. The design gives this quarter a powerful historical connection, because the coin is not simply showing a state symbol, it is telling a story about one of the most important chapters in early American history. Now take a close look at the obverse. You will see the classic portrait of George Washington, along with Liberty, Indiana God We Trust, United States of America, $quarter, and the year 2000. On the Denver version, the small D mint mark identifies the Denver Mint. That tiny letter is easy to overlook, especially when the coin has circulated for years. If you are searching through a collection, make it a habit to check the mint mark on every state quarter because Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco produce different versions of many designs. When you turn the coin over, the Virginia design immediately catches your attention. The three ships are displayed prominently, with Virginia written across the top and 1788 marking the year Virginia entered the Union. The inscription E pluribus unum also appears as part of the design. For collectors, this reverse is one of the reasons the Virginia quarter remains popular. It combines a modern U.S. coin with an important historical subject, making it attractive not only to coin collectors but also to people interested in American history. But here is where you need to be careful. The fact that this quarter is from 2000 does not automatically make it rare. Large numbers of Virginia state quarters were produced for circulation, so an ordinary circulated example is generally common. The real question is what condition your particular coin is in and whether it has an authentic minting error or recognized variety. Collectors carefully examine coins for unusual characteristics, but not every strange mark is an error. Scratches, dents, discoloration, and damage that happened after the coin left the mint are normally considered post-mint damage rather than valuable errors. Start your inspection on the obverse. Look closely at Washington's portrait and the raised details. Check Liberty and In God We Trust for sharpness and clarity. Examine the date 2000 and then locate the D mint mark. After that, move your attention to the fields around the design. Look for unusual doubling, missing design elements, abnormal shapes, or other characteristics that appear to be part of the original striking process. If you notice something unusual, compare it carefully with trusted references before assuming that you have discovered a valuable error. The reverse deserves just as much attention. Examine all three ships carefully, including the masts, sails, hulls, and surrounding lettering. Look at the fields for scratches or unusual marks, but remember that a scratch crossing a design does not automatically make a coin an error. Also inspect Virginia, the year 1788, e pluribus unum, and the overall strike. A coin with crisp details and attractive surfaces can be much more desirable than a heavily worn example, especially when the coin is preserved at a very high grade. Condition is one of the most important factors when determining the collector appeal of a modern quarter. A circulated coin may show wear across Washington's portrait and the ships on the reverse, while an uncirculated example can retain much sharper details and original surfaces. The difference between an ordinary circulated coin and an exceptionally preserved, professionally graded example can be substantial. That is why serious collectors often pay close attention to certified grades when evaluating coins that appear to be in extraordinary condition. The mint mark is another key detail. The 2000 Virginia quarter was produced at different facilities, so you can encounter different mint-marked versions. The D tells you that your coin came from Denver. If you have a large collection, separating the coins by mint mark can be an interesting way to organize your state quarters and can also help you identify exactly which version you own. Now let's talk about the value question everyone wants answered. A normal 2000D Virginia quarter should not automatically be considered a high-value coin simply because it is from the year 2000. Most examples found in circulation are worth around their face value, with collector premiums depending on condition and other characteristics. However, exceptional coins, certified high-grade examples, and genuine mint errors can attract much more attention. This is why you should inspect your coin carefully before deciding that it is ordinary or valuable. The biggest price figure we are highlighting in this video is $126,000. But please understand an important point: $126,000 should not be treated as the guaranteed value of every 2000D Virginia quarter. A price at that level would require a very specific coin with extraordinary characteristics and strong evidence from the professional marketplace. The normal value of an ordinary example can be dramatically lower. Always verify a high-value claim through reliable auction records and professional numismatic sources before buying or selling a coin. If you believe your Virginia quarter could be special, do not clean it. This is extremely important. Many people think polishing or cleaning an old coin will make it look better, but cleaning can permanently alter the coin's surface and potentially reduce its collector appeal. Instead, handle it carefully by the edges, use good lighting, and examine it without damaging the original surfaces. If you suspect a genuine error or an exceptionally high grade, professional evaluation can be a much better choice than trying to improve the coin yourself. One of the best things about state quarter collecting is that these coins are still relatively modern and can be found in collections, albums, jars, drawers, and old change. That means the search is accessible to almost anyone. You do not necessarily need an expensive collection to enjoy the hobby. You can begin by checking the quarters already around you and learning how to recognize dates, mint marks, designs, condition, errors, and varieties. And now I want to hear from you. Do you have a 2000D Virginia state quarter in your collection? If you have one, give me a reply in the comments and tell me what condition your coin is in. Have you noticed anything unusual on the ships, lettering, date, or mint mark? And if you have any other coin like the ones I show in my videos, tell me about it in the comments. Your coin could be an interesting topic for a future video. If you enjoy rare U.S. coins, state quarters, valuable errors, unusual varieties, coin values, and American coin history, make sure you subscribe to U.S. Rare Coins News. Turn on notifications so you never miss another coin discovery. Keep checking your change, keep learning, and always look closely at your coins before assuming they are only worth their face value. So the next time you see a 2000 Virginia quarter, don't just toss it into your pocket. Turn it over. Look at the 3 historic ships. Check the 2000 date. Find that small D mint mark. Examine the surfaces, lettering, and details. Most examples will not be worth a fortune, but the excitement of collecting comes from finding the unusual example that stands apart from the rest. Sometimes, the most interesting discoveries begin with a coin that everyone else ignored. And remember the price figure featured in this video, $126,000. That is the headline price we are highlighting, not a guaranteed value for every 2000 Virginia quarter. The true value of any individual coin depends on its condition, authenticity, grade, and whether it has a verified error or variety. So check your collection carefully, share your discoveries in the comments, and subscribe to US Rare Coins News for more fascinating US coin stories. Top 3. What if a quarter from 1999 is sitting in your collection right now, looking completely ordinary, while one tiny detail could make you want to examine it much more carefully? The 1999 New Jersey State Quarter is one of the earliest coins released in the famous 50 State Quarters program, and its reverse carries a scene that represents one of the most important moments in American history. But this is not just a history lesson. Today, we are focusing on the 1999 New Jersey Quarter, the Philadelphia Mint version, and we are going to look at its specifications, design, mint mark, condition, possible errors, collector interest, and the important price figure mentioned at the end. So before you spend one of these quarters, take a close look, you might discover something you never noticed before. The coin we are examining is the 1999 New Jersey State Quarter with the P mint mark. The standard weight of this quarter is 5.67 grams, its diameter is approximately 24.26 millimeters, and its thickness is approximately 1.75 millimeters. The circulating quarter is composed of a copper-nickel outer layer bonded to a copper core. These measurements provide useful identification points for collectors. If you have a coin that looks unusual, checking its weight can be a good first step, but remember that a different weight by itself does not prove that the coin is rare or valuable. A proper examination is always necessary. The 1999 New Jersey Quarter is especially interesting because New Jersey was the third state represented in the 50 State Quarters program. The coin was released in 1999, during the very first year of the program, when collectors across the United States were beginning to search their pocket change for the new state designs. The reverse features Washington crossing the Delaware, showing General George Washington and his troops crossing the Delaware River during the American Revolutionary War. This dramatic historical scene makes the New Jersey Quarter one of the most recognizable designs from the first year of the State Quarter series. Look closely at the reverse and you will see the famous image of Washington and his soldiers in a boat crossing the river. The design represents the crossing that took place on Christmas night in 1776, an event that preceded the Battle of Trenton and became an important moment in the American Revolution. The inscriptions New Jersey, 1787, E pluribus unum, and $quarter complete the design. The year 1787 represents the year New Jersey ratified the United States Constitution and became the third state to join the Union. So this small quarter combines state history, revolutionary history, and the story of America's early years into one compact coin. Now turn the coin over to the obverse. You will see the familiar portrait of George Washington, along with Liberty, Indiana God We Trust, United States of America, and the date 1999. Since we are focusing on the Philadelphia version, look for the small P mint mark. That single letter identifies the facility where the coin was struck. It may be tiny, but for collectors it is an important part of the coin's identity. When searching through state quarters, always check the mint mark because coins with the same state design can exist in different versions depending on where they were produced. There is something very important to understand about this quarter before we start talking about value. The fact that it is from 1999 does not automatically make it rare. The Philadelphia Mint produced a very large number of New Jersey state quarters, meaning ordinary circulated examples are generally common. So if you find a worn 1999 New Jersey quarter in your pocket change, do not immediately assume that it is worth thousands of dollars. The real excitement comes from finding an example with exceptional preservation, a recognized variety, or a genuine minting error that has been properly identified. Start your inspection with the date. Look carefully at the numbers 1999 and make sure they have not been altered or damaged. Next, find the P mint mark and examine it under good lighting. Then look around the portrait of Washington. Check the lettering, the rim, and the open fields for unusual characteristics. Some coins can develop scratches, dents, stains, or other damage while they are being handled and circulated. These marks may look dramatic, but they are not necessarily mint errors. A true minting error must be connected to the manufacturing process and should be evaluated carefully before claiming that the coin is rare. The reverse deserves even more attention because of its detailed Washington crossing the Delaware design. Examine the boat, the soldiers, Washington's figure, the oars, and the surrounding fields. Look carefully at the lettering and the rim as well. Strong details can be especially appealing on an uncirculated coin. If your quarter has heavy wear, scratches, or other circulation damage, it may have limited collector premium. But if the coin has sharp details, attractive original surfaces, and very little evidence of handling, it can be much more interesting to collectors. Condition is one of the biggest factors in the value of modern U.S. coins. A circulated coin can show wear on the highest parts of Washington's portrait and on the reverse design, while an uncirculated coin may retain much sharper details. Extremely high-grade examples can attract serious attention, especially when they are professionally authenticated and graded. This is why collectors should never judge a coin only by its date. The exact condition of the individual coin can make a major difference. Another useful thing to know is that the New Jersey quarter was produced at more than one mint. The Philadelphia version carries the P mint mark, while the Denver version carries the D mint mark. Proof versions can also be found with the S mint mark. So if you are building a complete collection, checking the mint mark is essential. You might have several New Jersey quarters that look almost identical but represent different mint issues. Now comes the question that everyone wants answered: what is this coin worth? The answer depends on the exact coin in front of you. An ordinary circulated 1999 New Jersey quarter is generally not a fortune. Its collector value depends on condition and any verified unusual characteristics. A coin with a genuine error, exceptional grade, or important variety can be much more interesting than a standard example. This is why careful examination is more important than simply searching the year online and assuming every result applies to your coin. For this video, the headline price we are highlighting is $118,000. But please remember that this figure should never be interpreted as the guaranteed value of every 1999 New Jersey quarter. A coin reaching an extraordinary price would need to be a very specific example with exceptional characteristics and strong professional market evidence. The ordinary value of a normal circulated quarter can be dramatically lower. Always verify any very high price claim through reliable numismatic references and documented auction records before buying, selling, or making decisions about your collection. If you think you have an unusual New Jersey quarter, do not clean it. This is one of the most important rules for collectors. Cleaning, polishing, or rubbing a coin can permanently change its original surface and may reduce its collector appeal. Instead, hold the coin by its edges, keep it in a safe holder, and examine it under good lighting. If you suspect a genuine mint error or believe the coin may be in an unusually high grade, consider having it examined by a qualified professional. The beauty of the State Quarters program is that these coins are still relatively modern, so many of them remain in homes across America and around the world. Some are stored in albums, some are sitting in old collections, and others are still being found in everyday change. That makes the hunt exciting because you do not necessarily need an expensive collection to participate. You can begin by checking the coins already in your possession and learning what details separate an ordinary example from a more desirable collectible. And now I want to hear from you. Do you have a 1999 New Jersey State quarter in your collection? If you do, Give me a reply in the comments and tell me about your coin. Is it circulated or uncirculated? Does it have strong details? Have you noticed anything unusual on Washington crossing the Delaware, the date, the P mint mark, or the lettering? And if you have any other coin like the ones I show in my videos, give me a reply and tell me what you have. I would love to hear about the interesting coins hiding in your collections. If you enjoy rare US coins, state quarters, valuable errors, unusual varieties, coin values, and American coin history, make sure you subscribe to US Rare Coins News. Turn on notifications so you do not miss the next video. There are millions of coins out there, and sometimes the most interesting discoveries start with a coin that looks completely ordinary. So the next time you come across a 1999 New Jersey quarter, do not just put it away without looking. Turn it over and study Washington crossing the Delaware. Check the date. Find the P mint mark. Examine the rim and lettering. Look for strong details and unusual characteristics. Most examples will not be worth a fortune, but that does not mean you should ignore them. The whole purpose of coin collecting is to learn, inspect, compare, and discover. And now, remember the final price figure featured in this video, $118,000. That is the headline price mentioned for this video, not a guaranteed value for every 1999 P New Jersey state quarter. The actual value of any individual coin depends on its condition, authenticity, grade, and whether it has a verified error or variety. So check your collection carefully, share your coin with us in the comments, and subscribe to US Rare Coins News for more exciting US coin discoveries. Top 4. What if the next quarter you check from your pocket, coin jar, or old collection turns out to be a coin you should never have ignored? The 2007 Montana state quarter may look like an ordinary 25-cent piece, but its reverse carries a powerful symbol of Montana, and the small details on a particular coin can make collectors look much more closely. This is the 2007 P Montana state quarter, and before you decide that it is simply another common quarter, take a few seconds to examine the date, the P mint mark, the condition, the design details, and the surfaces. One tiny difference can completely change the story of a coin, so let's take a detailed look at this Montana quarter and find out exactly what collectors should know. The coin we are examining is the 2007 Montana state quarter with the P mint mark, meaning it was struck at the Philadelphia Mint. The standard weight is 5.67 grams, the diameter is approximately 24.26 millimeters, and the thickness is approximately 1.75 millimeters. Its circulating composition consists of a copper core with a copper-nickel outer layer. These specifications are useful when identifying a normal example of the coin. If your quarter weighs noticeably differently, that can be a reason to investigate, but a different weight alone does not prove that a coin is rare or valuable. Always compare the coin carefully with reliable specifications before reaching a conclusion. Montana's quarter was part of the 50-state quarters program and was released in 2007. The reverse design is dominated by the beautiful bison skull, a symbol strongly connected with Montana's Western heritage and Native American culture. Behind it is a dramatic Montana landscape, giving the coin a distinctive appearance compared with many other state quarter designs. The word Montana appears prominently, along with 1889, the year Montana became a state, and e pluribus unum. This combination of the bison skull and Montana landscape gives the quarter a design that is instantly recognizable to collectors who specialize in state quarters. Now turn the coin over and examine the obverse. You will see George Washington's familiar portrait, along with United States of America, Liberty, Indiana God We Trust, quarter dollar, and the year 2007. Since this is the Philadelphia version, look carefully for the small P mint mark. That little letter may be easy to overlook, especially on a worn coin, but it is an important identification feature. When searching your collection, always check the mint mark because the same state quarter design was produced at different U.S. mint facilities. One thing every collector needs to understand is that a 2007 P Montana quarter is not automatically rare simply because it is a state quarter or because it is more than a decade old. Large numbers of these coins were produced, and ordinary circulated examples are generally common. What makes the search exciting is the possibility of finding a coin in exceptional condition or one with a genuine minting error or recognized variety. That is why the correct approach is not to look only at the year. You need to examine the entire coin. Start with the date 2007. Check the numbers carefully for any unusual appearance, but remember that damage or alteration can sometimes make normal lettering look strange. Next, locate the P mint mark and inspect it closely. Then look at Washington's portrait and the surrounding fields. Are the details sharp? Is there heavy wear? Are there scratches, dents, stains, or unusual marks? If you see something that looks different, do not immediately call it an error. Many unusual marks are caused by circulation, contact with other coins, or improper handling after the coin left the mint. Now turn your attention to the Montana reverse. The bison skull should be one of the first areas you inspect. Look closely at the edges, raised details, lettering, and surrounding fields. Examine the Montana landscape as well. A strong strike can preserve much more detail than a heavily circulated example. Check Montana, 1889, and E pluribus unum for clarity. Also inspect the rim around the entire coin. A genuine minting error may sometimes involve the planchet, strike, lettering, or design, but it should be carefully verified before you assume it has a high value. Condition is another major factor. A quarter that has spent years circulating through thousands of transactions can develop scratches, marks, and wear. Another quarter from the same year and mint can remain in much better condition if it was protected shortly after being produced. Collectors generally pay close attention to coins with strong details, attractive surfaces, and minimal signs of circulation. Extremely high-grade coins may be professionally certified, allowing buyers and sellers to compare them more confidently. The mint mark also helps you separate different versions of the Montana quarter. Philadelphia examples carry the P mint mark, while Denver examples carry the D mint mark. Proof versions have their own characteristics and were produced for collectors. If you are building a complete Montana quarter collection, checking these tiny details can make the hunt much more interesting. You may discover that you have several examples of the same design but from different mint facilities. Now we come to the question that gets every collector interested: how much could a 2007 P Montana quarter be worth? The answer is not one simple number. A normal circulated quarter is generally common and should not be assumed to be worth a huge premium. The value of an individual coin depends on condition, grade, rarity, authenticity, and whether it has a genuine error or recognized variety. This is why you should never assume that a spectacular price seen online applies automatically to your own coin. For this video, the headline price we are highlighting is $120,000. However, this should not be understood as the guaranteed value of every 2007 P Montana quarter. A price at that level would require a very specific and extraordinary coin with strong professional evidence supporting the valuation. The ordinary market value of a normal circulated example can be dramatically lower. Whenever you see an extremely high value claim, always check reliable auction records and professional numismatic sources before believing that your coin is worth that amount. If you think you have discovered something unusual, the next step is very important: do not clean the coin. Never polish or aggressively rub a collectible coin simply because you want it to look shiny. Cleaning can permanently alter the original surface and may hurt collector appeal. Instead, hold the coin carefully by its edges and keep it protected. Use good lighting, a magnifying glass if necessary, and compare the coin with trusted references. If you believe it has a genuine error or is an exceptional specimen, professional examination can help determine what you actually have. The Montana quarter is also a great reminder of why collecting state quarters became such a popular hobby. These coins were designed to bring American history and geography into everyday pocket change. Millions of people began collecting the designs, placing them in albums, jars, folders, and personal collections. Even today, you can still encounter state quarters that have interesting stories behind them. The excitement comes from learning what makes each design different and discovering whether the particular coin in your hand has something unusual about it. And now I want to hear from you. Do you have a 2007 P Montana State Quarter in your collection? If you do, give me a reply in the comments and tell me about your coin. Is it circulated or uncirculated? Does the bison skull have strong details? Is the P mint mark clearly visible? Have you noticed anything unusual on the date, lettering, rim, or reverse design? And if you have any other coin like the ones I show in my videos, give me a reply and tell me which coin you have. Your discovery could be the subject of a future video. If you enjoy rare US coins, state quarters, valuable errors, unusual varieties, coin values, and American coin history, make sure you subscribe to US Rare Coins News and turn on notifications. New discoveries can be hiding in ordinary-looking coins, and the more you learn, the better you become at spotting the details that other people overlook. So before you spend your next Montana quarter, give it a second look. Check the 2007 date. Find the P mint mark. Study Washington's portrait. Then flip it over and examine the bison skull, Montana landscape, lettering, and rim. Look carefully at the condition and watch for anything genuinely unusual. Most coins will be ordinary, but the thrill of collecting comes from finding the exceptional example among the ordinary ones. And remember the final price figure featured in this video, $120,000. That is the headline price mentioned for this video, not a guaranteed value for every 2007 P Montana State Quarter. The true value of any individual coin depends on its exact condition, authenticity, grade, and any verified error or variety. So check your collection carefully, tell me about your coin in the comments, and subscribe to US Rare Coins News for more exciting US coin discoveries. Top 5. What if a quarter from your everyday change could be hiding a detail that most people would never notice? The 2002 Louisiana State Quarter is already an interesting piece of American history, but the real excitement begins when you stop looking at it as just a 25-cent coin and start examining the date, mint mark, condition, design, and tiny details on the surface. This is the 2002 Louisiana State Quarter, and if you have one in your collection, do not put it away just yet. Take a close look at this coin, because there are several things every collector should know before deciding whether a particular example deserves a place in a serious collection. The coin we are discussing is the 2002 Louisiana State Quarter with the D mint mark, meaning it was produced at the Denver Mint. Its standard weight is 5.67 grams, its diameter is approximately 24.26 millimeters, and its thickness is approximately 1.75 millimeters. The circulating quarter has a copper-nickel outer layer bonded to a copper core. These specifications help collectors identify the normal characteristics of the coin. If your example has a noticeably different weight or physical appearance, that may be worth investigating, but remember that a measurement difference by itself does not automatically mean you have a rare or valuable coin. Louisiana became the 18th state represented in the 50-state quarters program, and its quarter was released in 2002. The reverse design is packed with symbols connected to Louisiana. It features a trumpet, musical notes, and a pelican, along with an outline of the Louisiana Purchase territory. The design is particularly interesting because it brings together Louisiana's rich musical heritage, state identity, and connection to one of the most significant land acquisitions in United States history. For collectors, this makes the Louisiana quarter much more than a simple piece of pocket change. It is a miniature representation of the state's history and culture. Now take a close look at the reverse. You can see the trumpet and musical notes representing Louisiana's strong connection to music, while the pelican represents the state bird. The outline of the Louisiana Purchase territory adds another historical element to the design. The inscriptions Louisiana, 1812, E pluribus unum, and $quarter complete the reverse. The year 1812 is important because it represents the year Louisiana became a state. Every detail was chosen to connect the coin with a part of Louisiana's story, making this one of the more distinctive designs in the State Quarter series. Turn the quarter over again and examine the obverse. You will see the familiar portrait of George Washington, together with United States of America, Liberty, Indiana God We Trust, $quarter, and the date 2002. Since this is the Denver issue, look for the small D mint mark. It is a tiny detail, but it tells you where the coin was produced. When searching through a group of state quarters, checking the mint mark is one of the easiest ways to identify different versions of the same state design. Now here is where collectors need to be careful. A 2002 Louisiana quarter is not automatically rare just because it is from 2002. Large quantities of these coins were made for circulation, so an ordinary worn example is generally common. The interesting question is whether your individual coin has something that separates it from the millions of ordinary examples. That could be exceptional condition, a genuine minting error, or a recognized variety. Simply finding an unusual scratch or mark is not enough. You need to determine whether the characteristic happened during the minting process or after the coin entered circulation. Start your inspection with the date. Look closely at the numbers in 2002 and check whether they appear normal. Then find the D mint mark and examine it carefully. Move upward toward Washington's portrait and inspect the raised details. Check Liberty, Indiana God We Trust, and the surrounding fields. Look for unusual doubling or other characteristics, but be careful not to confuse post-mint damage with a genuine error. Coins can become scratched, dented, stained, or damaged after leaving the mint, and those problems generally do not create the kind of premium that collectors associate with authentic mint errors. Now turn your attention to the Louisiana reverse. The trumpet and musical notes should be inspected closely, along with the pelican and the Louisiana Purchase outline. Examine the lettering and the rim as well. Look for strong details and signs of wear. A heavily circulated coin may have softened details and many surface marks, while an uncirculated example can preserve much sharper design elements. If you find a coin with exceptional detail and very clean surfaces, it may deserve closer attention from collectors and possibly a professional grading service. Condition can make a significant difference in modern coin collecting. Two Louisiana quarters can have exactly the same date and mint mark, yet one can be worth little more than face value while the other attracts considerably more collector interest because of its condition. High-grade coins with strong strikes, clean surfaces, and minimal circulation marks are particularly interesting to collectors. This is why you should never judge a quarter simply by looking at the date. The individual condition of the coin matters. The D mint mark is also important when organizing a collection. Denver produced its own version of the Louisiana State Quarter, while Philadelphia produced another circulation version with a P mint mark. Proof versions were also made for collectors. If you are trying to complete a state quarter collection, separating coins by mint mark can help you understand exactly what you have. A small letter can make the difference between one mint issue and another. Now let's talk about value. This is the question that every collector wants answered, but there is no single guaranteed price for every 2002 D Louisiana quarter. Most ordinary circulated examples are common and should not be assumed to be worth hundreds or thousands of dollars. A coin's value depends on its condition, grade, authenticity, and whether it has a genuine error or recognized variety. If you see a dramatic price attached to a coin online, always check whether that price actually belongs to the same date, mint mark, condition, and variety as your coin. The headline price we are featuring for this video is $133,000. But this figure should not be understood as the guaranteed value of every 2002 D Louisiana State Quarter. A coin reaching such an extraordinary amount would have to be a very specific and exceptional example, supported by strong professional evidence. An ordinary circulated Louisiana quarter can be worth dramatically less. Always verify extraordinary price claims using reliable numismatic sources and documented auction results before making any decision about your coin. If you believe you have found something unusual, do not clean the quarter. This is extremely important. Rubbing, polishing, or chemically cleaning a coin can permanently alter its original surface and may reduce its collector appeal. Instead, hold the coin carefully by its edges and inspect it under good lighting. Use a magnifying glass if needed, compare it with trusted references, and if you believe the coin has a genuine mint error or exceptional condition, consider professional evaluation. One of the reasons state quarter collecting remains so enjoyable is that these coins are still relatively modern and can be found in collections all over the world. Some people have complete state quarter albums, while others simply keep interesting examples they find in their change. The Louisiana design is especially memorable because of its musical theme, Pelican, and Louisiana Purchase connection. Every coin tells a small part of American history, and collecting them allows you to preserve those stories in a very unusual way. Now I want to hear from you. Do you have a 2002 Louisiana state quarter in your collection? If you do, give me a reply in the comments and tell me what condition your coin is in. Have you noticed anything unusual on the trumpet, musical notes, pelican, lettering, date, or D mint mark? And if you have any other coin like the ones I show in my videos, give me a reply and tell me which coins you have. I would love to hear about the interesting coins that collectors are finding. If you enjoy rare US coins, state quarters, valuable errors, unusual varieties, coin values, and American coin history, make sure you subscribe to US Rare Coins News and turn on notifications. There are countless coins out there that look ordinary at first, but learning what to look for can make every coin search much more exciting. So the next time you find a 2002 Louisiana quarter, don't immediately put it back into your pocket. Check the date. Find the D mint mark. Study Washington's portrait, then turn the coin over and examine the trumpet, musical notes, pelican, and Louisiana Purchase design. Look closely at the rim, lettering, surfaces, and overall condition. Most examples will be ordinary, but the search for an exceptional coin is what makes collecting so exciting. And now, the final price figure featured in this video is $133,000. Remember, this is the headline price mentioned for this video, not a guaranteed value for every 2002 Louisiana state quarter. The true value of your individual coin depends on its authenticity, condition, grade, and whether it has a verified error or variety. So check your collection carefully, give me a reply if you have any coin like the ones I show, and subscribe to US Rare Coins News for more exciting coin discoveries. Top 6. Imagine finding a Nevada state quarter in an old coin jar and almost spending it without a second thought. Now imagine stopping for just a moment, checking the date, finding the tiny D mint mark, and noticing details that most people completely overlook. That is exactly why the 2006 Nevada state quarter deserves a closer look. This coin combines Nevada's famous landscapes, its Western heritage, and the history of the state quarters program in one small piece of American currency. But the biggest question is simple: could your particular example have something unusual that makes collectors take notice? Before you put this quarter back into your collection, let's examine it carefully from the specifications and composition to the design, mint mark, condition, possible errors, collector interest, and the final price figure featured in this video. The coin we are examining is the 2006 Nevada state quarter with the D mint mark, meaning it was struck at the Denver Mint. The standard weight is 5.67 grams, the diameter is approximately 24.26 millimeters, and the thickness is approximately 1.75 millimeters. The circulating quarter has a copper-nickel outer layer bonded to a copper core. These specifications are useful when identifying the normal characteristics of this coin. If your example has a different weight or appearance, that can be a reason to investigate further, but a measurement difference by itself does not prove that the coin is rare or valuable. Proper examination is always important. Nevada's state quarter was released in 2006 as part of the United States Mint's 50 State Quarters program. Nevada was the 36th state represented in the series, and its design immediately captures the spirit of the Silver State. The reverse features three major symbols: the rugged mountain landscape, a group of wild mustangs, and the sun rising behind the mountains. The design also includes sagebrush, Nevada's state flower, and the inscription Nevada. These elements were carefully selected to represent the state's natural beauty, open spaces, and Western identity, making the coin especially appealing to collectors who enjoy designs with a strong connection to a state's history and culture. Look closely at the reverse and you can see the horses running across the Nevada landscape. The mountains rise in the background while the sun appears behind them, creating a dramatic scene on a very small surface. Sagebrush is also incorporated into the design, adding another important connection to Nevada. The inscriptions Nevada, 1864, e pluribus unum, and $quarter complete the reverse. The year 1864 represents the year Nevada entered the Union as the 36th state. Every part of this design has a purpose, which is one reason state quarter collectors enjoy studying these coins so closely. Now turn the coin over and look at the obverse. You will see the familiar portrait of George Washington, together with United States of America, Liberty, Indiana God We Trust, $quarter, and the year 2006. Since we are focusing on the Denver issue, look carefully for the small d mint mark. It may be tiny, but it is one of the first details you should check when identifying the coin. The mint mark tells you where the quarter was produced and helps distinguish this version from the Philadelphia issue. Before we talk about value, there is something every collector needs to understand. A 2006 D Nevada quarter is not automatically rare simply because it is from 2006 or because it belongs to the state quarter series. Large quantities were produced for circulation, so an ordinary circulated example is generally common. The real question is whether your individual coin has an exceptional grade, a genuine minting error, or another recognized characteristic that separates it from ordinary examples. This is why careful inspection is much more important than simply searching the year and assuming the highest price you see online applies to your coin. Begin your examination with the obverse. Look at Washington's portrait and inspect the raised areas for signs of wear. Check Liberty, Indiana God We Trust, and the date 2006. Then locate the D mint mark and make sure it is clearly identifiable. Examine the surrounding fields for unusual features, but remember that scratches, dents, stains, and contact marks can happen after a coin leaves the mint. These forms of damage should not automatically be called mint errors. A genuine mint error must be connected to the manufacturing process and should be verified carefully. Now flip the quarter over and spend some time studying the Nevada design. Look at the three wild mustangs, the mountains, the rising sun, and the sagebrush. Check the lettering and the rim around the coin. Pay attention to how sharp the design details are. A heavily circulated quarter may have worn areas, scratches, and softened details, while an uncirculated coin can preserve much stronger features. If you find an example with exceptionally sharp details and attractive original surfaces, it may be worth closer examination by a knowledgeable collector or professional grading service. The condition of a modern quarter can make a major difference in its collector appeal. Two 2006 D Nevada quarters can have exactly the same date and mint mark but look completely different because one has been heavily circulated while the other has remained protected. High-grade coins with strong strikes, clean surfaces, and minimal marks can attract more attention than ordinary worn examples. This is why experienced collectors do not judge a coin only by its year. They carefully consider grade, surface quality, strike, and overall preservation. The mint mark is also important if you are building a complete state quarter collection. Nevada quarters were produced at different U.S. mint facilities, and the mint mark allows you to distinguish the different circulation issues. AD identifies Denver, while AP identifies Philadelphia. Collector-proof versions can also be encountered. So if you have several Nevada quarters, place them side by side and check those tiny letters. You may discover that you have different versions of the same state design without realizing it. Now let's get to the question that every collector asks: how much could this Nevada quarter be worth? There is no single guaranteed price for every 2006 D Nevada quarter. An ordinary circulated example should not be assumed to be worth hundreds or thousands of dollars. The actual value depends on the coin's condition, grade, authenticity, and whether it has a genuine error or recognized variety. If you find an extremely high price online, always check whether the listing or auction actually refers to the exact same date, mint mark, grade, and variety. For this video, the headline price we are highlighting is $133,000. But this should not be interpreted as the guaranteed value of every 2006 D Nevada state quarter. A price at that level would require a very specific and extraordinary coin supported by strong professional evidence. The normal value of an ordinary circulated quarter can be dramatically lower. Before believing an extraordinary price claim, always verify it through reliable numismatic references and documented auction results. If you believe your Nevada quarter has an unusual feature, do not clean it. This is one of the most important rules in coin collecting. Polishing, rubbing, or chemically cleaning a coin can permanently change its original surface and may reduce its collector appeal. Instead, handle the coin carefully by the edges, keep it protected, and examine it under good lighting. A magnifying glass can help you study tiny details. If you believe you have a genuine mint error or an exceptionally high-grade example, professional evaluation is the safest way to determine what you actually have. The Nevada quarter is also a great example of why the 50-state quarters program became such a huge collecting phenomenon. Millions of people started looking through their change for state designs, and many began filling albums with every state in the series. Nevada's design stands out because of its western theme, wild horses, mountains, and desert landscape. Even though these coins are modern, they provide a fascinating way to connect everyday currency with American geography and history. And now I want to hear from you. Do you have a 2016 Nevada state quarter in your collection? If you do, give me a reply in the comments and tell me about your coin. Is it circulated or uncirculated? Are the Mustangs and mountain details sharp? Can you clearly see the D mint mark? Have you noticed anything unusual on the date, lettering, rim, or reverse design? And if you have any other coin like the ones I show in my videos, give me a reply and tell me which coin you have. I would love to hear about the interesting coins that collectors are finding. If you enjoy rare US coins, state quarters, valuable errors, unusual varieties, coin values, and American coin history, make sure you subscribe to US Rare Coins News and turn on notifications. Every coin has a story, and sometimes the details that look insignificant at first can be the most interesting part of the discovery. So the next time a 2006 Nevada quarter comes into your hands, don't immediately spend it. Check the date. Find the D mint mark. Study Washington's portrait. Then turn it over and examine the Mustangs, mountains, rising sun, sagebrush, lettering, and rim. Look carefully at the condition and compare anything unusual with reliable references. Most examples will be ordinary, but finding the exceptional one is what makes coin collecting so exciting. And now, the final price figure featured in this video is $133,000. Remember, this is the headline price mentioned for this video, not a guaranteed value for every 2006 Nevada state quarter. The true value of an individual coin depends on its authenticity, condition, grade, and any verified error or variety. So check your collection carefully, give me a reply if you have any coin like the ones I show, and subscribe to US Rare Coins News for more exciting US coin discoveries.